Welcome back to Comics, the podcast where me and my mom go through our comic book collection 2 issues at a time. Today we're starting with the DC comic Batman Detective Comics number 510 with the Mad Hatter electrocuting Batman's brain.
Gory! Wow.
Is it though? Gory's
Yes.
like blood.
The Mad Hatter used to collect hats, but now he hunts the heads they cover.
It's a gateway drug. First it starts with hats and then moves on to heads.
Oh, that's... And look at how comical he looks.
Then you get into necks.
Ugh.
Yeah, I picked this because I feel like Mad Hatter is kind of a underrated Batman villain. Maybe he's just rated though. After reading this, I can see why he doesn't pop up as often as the Joker, the Riddler, any of the big antagonists.
He's wearing gloves and stripy pants, like the Penguin.
Yeah, he goes to the same tailor, I guess. Well, it's like when the Joker and Penguin were sharing pants. They all go to the same crime tailor.
The only difference? Inseam.
You think that you just hang out at that tailor's business and rest people as they come in.
As they come in or come out, yeah.
I like the colors, though. For an electrocution, it's all green.
Yeah.
Greenish blue, kind of. It's got a weird hue to it.
Batman is ripped.
Well, it's the electricity making him puff out.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's a nice cover. It's creepy.
So, let's see. I believe this is a 1982. Yep, it's an 82.
Yep, 82.
So, we start with a little backstory. In case you didn't know, Batman, orphaned as a child.
What?
When his parents were murdered before his eyes, Bruce Wayne has trained himself to wage relentless war against crime as the dread avenger of the night. He is part of the he is part of the night, a shadow cut from shadows.
Right.
A shadow of a shadow.
Looks like he's holding a big spoon.
Holding his giant spoon of justice. He does look. I never noticed that. I don't know if it's supposed to be a lamp or something.
Yeah.
The architecture's confusing.
Yes, it is.
The way they get the title of the book in there.
It's interesting.
That's a little disorienting. So he is attending a political debate. Gotham is about to elect a new mayor.
Uh-oh.
And the two front runners are Councilman Arthur Reeves and businessman Hamilton Hill. And apparently Reeves hates Batman. He's using his anti-Batman platform to gain popularity. Meanwhile, Hamilton Hill is going after Commissioner Gordon. He says he's the scapegoat everyone should persecute. So it's like a lose-lose situation. Either one wins, it's going to be trouble for Batman
somebody.
or Batman's best buddy. Batman likes hanging out with old guys with white hair.
He does, and mustaches.
Commissioner.
Yeah. But I feel
Tom
like he's
Selleck.
Nicer to Commissioner Gordon than he is to our. And you'd think that he would be nice at
to
home.
Alfred,
To Alfred,
who raised him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would think. That's what Alfred says every day. You would think he'd be nice to me.
One of these days, Batman.
So, Gordon is like ready to call the police in because the people attending the rally are getting really intense. But he's like, hold off until I give the signal. When all of a sudden, a man's calling out. He says, my cash receipt, stop. Somebody, this guy's running it off with it. And Batman hears that and swings down over the crowd of like reporters and political attendees who at first have like midair, they're like, hey, he's jumping in to beat us all up. Like he is a bad guy, just like one of the candidates says. But then the other person's like, no, he's swinging over us to go capture this guy. So there's all, the classic, like, everybody thinks Batman's the cause of our problems and not the solution.
Right.
And let's see, I think one of these news anchor people are like doing a live, they're like, patch me in for a live broadcast. I gotta get this Batman doing something bad. When he pounces on the criminal and punches him through a plate glass window.
Oops.
Like, for a guy that doesn't, I say this a lot with Batman comics, but for a guy who doesn't kill, he's not above manslaughter. Like, if you end up getting killed through his battery or assault, that,
yeah.
you know.
Well, and here he is proving both sides right. He's doing something good, and then he does something destructive.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
Punishment for stealing cash receipts should be to be impaled by shards of glass. So says the Batman.
Well, he could send him to Metropolis and they could play in the glass forest.
Yeah, you have to ride in the river of lava. So, let's see. Batman, by my authority as a councilman of Gotham, I'm putting you under arrest. He's like, councilmen don't have that authority, Reeves. Don't make a fool of yourself. So they kind of spar, and after they leave and exchange quips, the councilman's like looking at this envelope. I can see Hill gloating. Let him laugh. Him and the Batman. I still hold the trump card, these photos. And soon I'll play my hand and win the pot. So he has some secret that the businessman and Batman are going to be blindsided by, I guess. Yeah, meanwhile, okay. Lucius Fox is working at Wayne Industries late at night. This is the Wayne Foundation building. He's doing some coding or something. He's helping out. He's working on the Centron 200 computer.
Okay.
It's designed to plot graphs estimating Wayne Enterprises' financial condition in the next quarter. But it goes haywire. And instead of saying like words, they form into a top hat.
What?
And it blows up. Do you think that added extra time to the criminals? Like the Mad Hatter hired a computer guy, like we need to hack into the Wayne Enterprises computer, but don't do it until you're able to give them a little graphic of a hat. That's a really specific part of it. He's like, I don't know how we would do that. We would have been able to do this weeks ago if you didn't insist on putting that little hat there right before the explosion. We could have just blown it up. We don't need the hat.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, no, it'll be worth it.
Well, it's like over-talking, bad guys over-talking when they have the hero in a position to
like
kill them.
Like the James Bond thing.
Yes.
The monologue. This is like having too much flair.
Yes.
You're too much into your theme.
Yep.
And you lose sight of the real purpose of crime, which is hurting people and doing things dishonestly.
Yes.
So Lucius is okay. He survives the blast, but he is under the influence of the Mad Hatter, who puts this cap on him. If you're familiar with the Mad Hatter, you know he can control people. I think through top hat control. There's a little band that goes around your head, and like it has technology, that mind control technology in top hat form. So
what was it? Mercury or something in the production of hats in the past that would make the Mad Hatter?
Really?
It was like.
I thought it just attracted crazy people, that type of hat.
Well, there's that too. But yeah, isn't that the whole thing? But then
I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, check it or read into it.
It wasn't a headband of mind control technology?
Not
That's what they want you to think. Mercury's actually good for you.
Oh gosh. I grew up in the generation in science class when you would pour it in your hand to see how it would roll around.
Really? Is that why you're like this?
Yeah. Yeah. Explains a lot.
That's wild, though. You actually did that in your class? Oh, my.
Yeah.
I wonder what they'll think, though, in a few decades, the things that we did when I was a kid. The things we did in class, they'll think they're crazy or unsafe
or not crazy enough.
I wonder what they'll be, though. Yeah, not crazy enough. You didn't even roll Mercury around your head?
What's wrong with
Grandpa? You? So we get a great bathroom shot of Bruce Wayne. He's taking a shower, I guess.
Alfred's like, come on.
And he mentions, this reminds me, I think we covered maybe the directly preceding, but a recent issue related to this, because he mentions that he's got a poison ivy problem. She's like put him under some kind of hypnosis where he can't tell people about it. I think that was a few episodes ago. But that doesn't really pertain to this issue. It's just a nice little reminder of that background plot. He's like, make me a high protein shake, Alfred. I don't think I have time for a leisurely breakfast. Commissioner Gordon wants to meet with him. Gordon's like, I thought Playboys take forever to get out of bed. And Bruce says, I have a 9 o'clock tee-off date at the Gotham Country Club. But what's this about Lucius for? Where is he? And so he catches him up to speed. And I don't know, the way they explain the explosion, I'm not really sure the purpose of it. It sounds technical, but it's also vague enough to just be like, you're just calling a thing another thing. You're just giving names to abstract things that you're not explaining.
Right.
When the secretary arrived this morning, he found the wreckage signs of an explosion. Fox wasn't home when the secretary called, so he phoned the police. Good man. The Centron 200 is a fail-safe mechanism, Commissioner. It can't simply blow up unless some outside power source interrupted with its operation. You mean this? Looks like a power pack. Not one of ours. Could this have short-circuited your computer? Definitely. Oh, it was a power pack. You know how if you put a power pack on the Centron 200, it blows up?
I've been looking for a power pack for my phone.
Do you remember when power packs were that big?
No.
And they were all purple and pink?
That's crazy.
And he has so much flair that the Mad Hatter has to just leave this little token on the secretary's desk taunting them. It's not subtle.
No.
That's why he doesn't get away with his crimes. He's just reckless. I do like it that he is a pet monkey, though.
Hey, Ghost Rider.
Yep, Ghost Rider. He's a fan.
Collected his head.
So, Commissioner's listening in on a call because he's calling the business card's number, and the Mad Hatter says, if you give me $2 million, I'll give you Lucius Fox back.
Only $2 million, huh?
Just $2 million. I mean, that's a lot to me.
Well, it is, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he looks like an animal too, doesn't he?
The Mad Hatter?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. He's got a weird, like, upper lip beak-like thing. I like the expression on the monkey's face.
I know. He's like,
he doesn't give a crap about what's going on.
I hate this guy.
He doesn't even know his master is evil. He has a feeling. Gordon's like, yeah, tell him you'll give him $2 million and then we'll go catch him when he goes to the bank to collect it. That's Gordon's bright idea. And so, yeah, they make a date by 3 o'clock today, he says.
He's talking to Bruce Wayne. Come on. That's his pocket change.
Well, is it, though? I mean, I don't know. $3 million in 1985. It's a lot different than $3 million in 2023.
Yeah,
it's still a lot of money to me.
But he's a millionaire.
Is he a billionaire?
Now, maybe, yeah.
So anyway, they go to electronics stores up and down this district of Gotham. It's Gotham's Lower East Side, where discount clothing stores rub shoulders with volume business electronic shops. You know that part of Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
We often go there, looking for CB radio deals. So he finally finds the store that sells the power packs.
Okay.
I guess they only have gray in the photo, but they come in pink mostly. Weird that the display on this watch is pink too. And so by the time this clerk at the store looks up, very Batman-like, Bruce Wayne has disappeared because he's put two and two together. This clerk had mentioned that they had to send some of the equipment to a medical supply shop over in Jersey. They shipped from the medical supply shop to an old restaurant in Torytown. And then Bruce knows that there's some kind of hat-themed restaurant in Torytown, so he's like, okay, I guess he's so committed to his aesthetic, he's going to get caught. What's that? Is this his first appearance?
Yeah.
No, that's actually another weird wrinkle that happens right at the end of the book where, yeah, he's appeared in the Batman story several times up until now. He's just being very stereotypical. He's like, I don't have any new tricks. I still love hats. I'm just trying a different crime.
What a weirdo.
We'll do ransom this time.
His rug is pink too.
His goons are really weird. Why do they have to have little green suits that go all the way over their head?
Yeah.
It's in their contract. They gotta wear onesies.
Well, and his monkey's gotta wear that vest.
No, he wanted to. He picked it out.
He's got a hat too.
So the plan is, once the $2 million goes in the Mad Hatter's bank account, he has like all of these other accounts and a computer that can start randomly shooting around the money until it lands in an account that's removed from his identity, but only he knows.
It between various and sundry front accounts.
Yeah, he's like a financial criminal, which is weird. 'Cause what does that have to do with hats? But
right. Well, you need money to buy hats.
That's true.
With this device.
But really what he's going to do is he can like download the contents of Lucius Fox's brain into this computer. Yeah. So he's going to do that. He has an image of his brain right there.
He's got his finger on the erase button.
Yeah, and he's going to like leave him a drooling zombie. Like I think he uses the term vegetable. I understand that's not a very sensitive way to put it.
Well, he is a bad guy.
You've got your ransom, Hatter. I suppose now you're going to kill me. What, and waste all your precious financial knowledge? Au contraire. With this device, I shall raid your memory, Mr. Fox. It works on biofeedback principle. However, instead of feeding your alpha waves back into your brain, your thoughts, memory, and financial expertise will be fed into this monitor. So, and then he'll just discard his body like a empty cassette. But
wow.
What is this? Some kind of frisbee flying into the room and blinding the monkey? It was a magnesium flare. He's aware that specifically of what it is. It's a magnesium flare. I'm blinded. All I can see are spots. I like the monkey's eyes.
Yes. Is this what inspired the Shock the Monkey? Peter Gabriel. Wow.
I like all the lines in the background of like the washed out parts.
I like how Fox looks really full of angst and just,
leaning forward like that. Oh. So most of the thugs are blinded, so they Mad Hatter's encouraging them to try to hear where Batman is. He's like, listen to his footfalls on the ground, but he makes short work of most of them. I like these big panels.
Those are nice.
That are asymmetrical.
How they come out of the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty cool action shots. Monkey doesn't like violence.
This is sweet. This action shot, you can actually like visualize.
Yeah, it really sells like the.
That's nice.
Using the transition like that. That's cool.
Uh-oh.
But there's one guy who wasn't looking when the flare went off, so he's not blinded, and he gives Batman a little trouble. Up to the point where the guy says, "Go down, why don't you go down?" And Batman says, "That's not my style." And he knocks him out.
Well, you got to give the Batman credit. He can take a beating. Although
didn't have to, and he just went through with it because he knows that a regular beating's good for him. That's his style.
He's into hats. I'm into getting beat up.
Until finally, Mad Hatter has his finger again on the erase button, and he's
what a jerk.
And he, take a step, and I'll wipe his brain. Here's what happens, though. Batman says, "You know who would be a better hostage? Me." And then he's like, "You're not serious." He's like, "I am serious." "Why aren't we noble? My darling, I believe I shall accept your offer." "Batman, don't. Once you're in this chair, I've made my decision." And so there's this awkward transition where they're in a standoff, and he's like, "I have my finger on the button if you move." And then suddenly we transition to Lucius has it on, and then Batman has it on. And he's standing next to Batman strapped down. So like, Why wouldn't Batman just be like, yeah, I'll be the hostage, and then on their way over there beat him up and just be like, yeah, we're not doing that. I was just tricking you for a second. But
yeah, true.
Like, I guess that he could have been like, okay, I'm going to have my finger on the button still. You, Batman, go over there and start undoing the
funny business.
restraints. And then any funny business I'll press this. But then there's still a moment once he gets Lucius out where he's got his finger on the button and no one's hooked up to the thing.
Jump him.
So it's like, I can see why they didn't illustrate those actions happening because it makes very little sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Batman's like, nope, I agreed to it. Strap me in. I know I could knock him off. I could knock his block off with one punch, but we had an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a trick up his sleeve because, Mad Hatter, he's reveling in his victory, and right when he hits the erase button, and all the sparks start shooting off as I guess his alpha waves are being conveyed or something. But nothing happens. In fact, when Mad Hatter, thinking, I guess, he's playing possum here, Batman's pretending that he's all an empty husk, he's all wasted, only to find that he's grabbed by the throat.
Bulb. Or bulb.
Bulb.
Wow.
Talking through your hat is a bad habit, Hatter.
Why?
But you'll have time to correct all your bad habits. I'd say 20 years to life.
What?
And this is where it gets a little weird. Mad Hatter talks about how like he's not even the Mad Hatter that originally encountered Batman. I think it was here we go. There's a little weird backstory. It says, that's right, my darling. Keep your distance. As well you should. I am your original opponent, gone for more than a decade. You're not the same Mad Hatter I fought these past few years, and yet I know you. You madman, what are you saying? The original Mad Hatter? You mean there's more than one of you? Oui, but the original is moi. I was indisposed at it goes up here. The detective and I met during my theft of the Yacht Club trophy back in Batman 49. Soon after, an imposter took my place, even assumed my name. I was indisposed at the time. Actually, I'd been placed in a sanitarium, if you must know. A month ago I escaped. I disposed of the imposter, and now, Batman, I shall dispose of you. So, I guess there were a couple different guys calling them Mad Hatters. I wonder if, did they do that because the last time he appeared, he died or something, and they just wanted to use the character again, so they just said it was a different guy pretending to be him.
Or did they get to a point in his story arc that it was like, I don't see going forward with this?
Does he even have an arc? It's just a hat guy. It's just a hat shaped. It's like the top of a hat. It's flat.
Yeah.
So postscript, it's always a smooth transition in comics if you have to. Postscript, it's like, it's the end.
At the Top Hat.
It's the epilogue. They're at the Top Hat restaurant, so he's so committed to his theme that he just makes it really easy to find him. I'm surprised Batman just didn't think of that immediately. He needed the reminder, I guess, that there was a hat-themed restaurant that, had gone out of business and had become available as a criminal hideout. I feel like he would keep track of things like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I have an opponent that loves hats. One that really likes clowns. One that really likes plants. This guy likes ice.
Joker.
Yeah, and then you have a Google reminder search thing, like any news that comes up with that. So this is all just to say, well, how did you not steal your brainwaves? He says, well, I wore this rubberized non-conducting headpiece that fit neatly under my cowl. The supplier mentioned biofeedback equipment and alpha wave monitors. Knowing the Hatter's head preoccupation, I took the obvious precautions. So he does exactly what we're talking about. He's like, knowing that this guy is going to do something head-themed in this crime, I just protected my head. It's actually really easy because all my main antagonists have a very narrow theme that they're trying to perpetrate. So I just do something that protects me against that.
Okay,
I'm not that great of a detective. I just use common sense. But we leave on a cliffhanger because Reeves, in the newspaper, the headline says, "Reeves to Batman, I know who you are and I can prove it." So that envelope he was brandishing earlier he might reveal it next issue. And we get a second story. In fact, we read about this large-headed guy, the Annihilator, before. This is the conclusion to the Supergirl and Batgirl story, Bride of Destruction. So where we left off a few episodes ago, this is the Annihilator. He is a regular guy who was evolved to be a higher form of human evolution. Like he's some other subspecies of the human race that...
He's got a big head.
Accelerated, evolution. And he wants to turn Batgirl into a big-headed person like him and start a new master race. He's going to do it with this rock that he shoots through the laser. It wouldn't work on Supergirl, otherwise I guess that was his first choice. I think they specify that. Or they remind us that she's the only one, though my weapon cannot affect Supergirl, it will turn you into a future being like myself. Then I shall destroy this primitive society around us, and with you as my mate, create a whole new race to populate this planet.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's more MODOK love story.
Yeah. So, I think the best part of this one is how they draw his weird bulbous head slightly different depending on the angle. Wow, that's unflattering. That is not your angle, man.
Face forward, don't do it.
Some of these drawings of Batgirl, though, she looks goofy in that one.
Yeah.
He just misses her because Supergirl pushes her out of the way. Oh, and part of this story is Batgirl's feeling self-conscious because she's like, if I'm in a team with Supergirl, what can I even really add? She's
is she Barbara Gordon?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. And so she's feeling like she's not as useful as Supergirl this whole time. However...
Well, she sees Supergirl getting beat up on.
Yeah, exactly. He actually subdues Supergirl, like blasts her way far out of the way. He has like some kind of mind beam. It wasn't the evolution ray. See, he can shoot pink. It's probably a simple mind beam. Like he learned it from MODOK at an incel meeting or whatever. But he shoots that, and he's about to take Batgirl as his bride with his evolution ray. She does have some pellets. So he... started a fire with his simple mind beam, and then he accelerated it with another mind beam. He's like, I might as well just kill all the humans in this building because they're like pests to me. I'm so evolved. Yeah. These little foam pellets from my utility belt can barely make a dent in this fiery furnace. And this is where she's like, I wish I'm not even as good as Supergirl, and who flies in and puts out the flame. Batgirl's like, man, I'm just useless, huh? Even if I do find the Annihilator, what can I do, she says. Well, probably bring Supergirl with you. Is what I would suggest.
Oh, ew.
Yeah. It's got like a cleft in it sometimes. Or the back, when you can see the back of it, it's like a weird mushroom head. Look how goofy it looks there. It's like it got even bigger.
Yeah.
That's freakish looking.
Into Tyrannosaurus Rex. Or no, what's the one with the big Tyrannosaurus or
Triceratops?
Triceratops, yes.
It is. Yeah, it looks like that. Or that mind beast from Superman that can project your desires on the top of its forehead. So she narrowly escapes the evolution beam again and kicks him in the head. He's trying to shoot her. She's disarming him. But he is able to freeze people with his mind beam as well. He can start fires. He can freeze people. Though she's frozen temporarily, Supergirl intercepts the beam and uses all these handy bricks to enclose the Annihilator, who breaks out of it.
He's a little pissed.
It's a good thing all those bricks were just
sitting around. Wow.
He breaks out and he blasts Supergirl again. I think she had mentioned that he blasted her a few miles last time, so it took her a minute to recover and fly back. Let's see.
That's
Before I had to touch
being.
you to absorb your energies, Supergirl, but no longer. In my new state, I can accomplish the same thing from a distance like this. So he's like getting more powerful.
And using her
draining
power against. Okay.
But Batgirl has an idea. She sees this fire hydrant, busts it open with a pellet. A mini explosive pellet. She's got a collection of different pellets. I really hope she doesn't mix them up by accident sometimes. But she's got a mini explosive pellet from her utility belt that bursts this open and drenches the Annihilator in water, which you're like, okay, it knocked him down, but here's why that's relevant. She's able to get Supergirl to do the ice breath on him, and that freezes him and devolves him. Because apparently the thing that originally powered him up or caused him to evolve was her heat vision, and so everybody knows that cold is the opposite of heat. So you use the opposite thing on him, and he becomes a regular guy with an unfreakish head.
And hair, all of a sudden.
I love, too, that, like, she's like, and that's why it reversed the process. And then Supergirl's like, okay, bye. She's like, at the next, she's already leaving, like, well, okay, I hope we get to work together. That's what they say. Smart thinking, Batgirl. I'm sure glad to have you on my team. Maybe we can work together soon. Bye. Supergirl, it would be my pleasure. Okay, bye. You don't want to, like, get some ice cream? Celebrate, defeating the Annihilator. So anyway, I think I can see why they don't use the Mad Hatter that much. Maybe somebody hasn't cracked the code and the really good way to depict the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
We have a number 1 issue.
We have a number 1 issue.
That's kind of fancy. Number 1 of Spider-Man
Adventures. Special cover.
These holofoil kind of things were so popular when I was a kid.
Not all the editions had it.
Really? Well, thanks for springing for the fancy one. I appreciate it.
I don't remember buying this. I think it was Grandma. And
let's see, it was 1994.
And
I remember the Gargoyles cartoon. I really wanted to watch it, but I think it was on a channel that we didn't get. But I had like a VHS of 1 episode, maybe.
I thought it had a lot of potential, but I'm not sure that it was something that they did as well as they could have.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of it. So we open up with Spider-Man Adventures. New York City, a great place to be, especially when you're soaring over rooftops 40 stories high, when the open night sky is yours and yours alone, and when you go by the name Spider-Man. What I noticed in this book that was a little entertaining was how much of his inner dialogue tells the story. And it was a little awkward in places, but it wasn't too bad. It's yet another 90s, very saturated graphics.
Oh yeah.
So
the colors are so much deeper and darker.
Yeah. So he's thinking to himself, amazing, what a little web swinging can do for the soul. It's the greatest. Trouble below.
I think you mentioned this is an adaptation of the cartoon from this time. So they're just making comic versions of the episodes.
Yeah, and they did it for the first season, and then after that, the book kind of did its own thing.
I wonder if that's why we have so much inner monologue, because I think they had a voiceover of Peter Parker being conveying his thoughts to the audience. Maybe they just copied that or something.
Right. And they had to. So he stumbles across thugs are hassling that candy store owner.
Give me some candy, man.
But look at how he comes in hot and kicks this guy right in the back.
Yeah, he would kick through his bones.
You would think so. You would think it would be a lot bloodier than what it is.
Or you think he would go through a period where maybe that happens once or twice, and then he calibrates his strength. He's like, and now I swear never to take a life. Now that I know how strong I am, I had a few, you break a few eggs, but now I don't kill. Unless I get really mad, but mostly I will not kill.
And every couple months, he's like, now is when I draw the line. So this guy, he gets all these other guys under control. And then his spider senses tingling. He's got me at point blank range. It's like, it's Spider-Man. Why wouldn't you just run the other way? Come on, you know?
Yeah. I like the way that they draw his spider sense.
Yeah.
Those jagged red line things.
And look at what this punch does to this guy.
Ouch.
So, no! Whack!
The color on those letters, crazy.
Yes. And so he pretty much ties him up and tells the guy, call the cops, let them know what happens. And then he takes off. He's like, after I see if there's something worth shooting pictures on the east side. So he's...
Don't
Peter,
tell that to the victim. He's going to know you're a photographer.
Well, that was his inner dialogue again, which makes it a little confusing because he's always talking, but not all of it is verbally talking. But then it cuts to the subway, and these two guys are down there just making an inspection, and the one guy's like, ugh, and the other one's like, come on, at least you got a job. You're always complaining. And then they say, step aside, kid. I feel a train coming. I thought I felt one. Funny, no headlights. And Ray, oh my God! And you hear this roar.
I used to love to try to draw characters with this
Yes, you
pointed,
did.
jagged eyes like that. That was like Venom or the Lizard here. A lot of characters became big shark mouths full of teeth.
Hey, if we get enough comments asking, I can bring some samples of your early artwork. Let us know if you want to see it. And anyway, he's like, it's got me! And look at that big old claw. And he's like, okay, kid, okay. And he throws his flashlight at it, and then they take off running, and they're insane scared. They tell the guy up on taking token, he's like, get out of here, there's something down there. They get in the van and they take off and they're driving nuts, and they get the attention of Spider-Man.
They're like bashing their way through traffic. Damn.
And he thinks that they're drunk or something, so can you imagine, you've seen something traumatic and then you see this little head pop down. Hey, yoo-hoo, fellas.
Yeah.
Can anyone join this party, or is it for couples only?
Don't escalate the situation, Spider-Man. They're already freaking out.
Exactly. Then his spider senses go off, and he realizes if he hangs on, he's going to hit this pole. And it says that it'll tear him in two, but it's like you're Spider-Man. That pole would just crunch under your, you know what I mean?
Because he's so durable?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that he can take a whole...
I mean, he can be punched by the Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That...
Maybe he just doesn't want the city to have to pay for a new pole.
And so anyway, he gets out of the way of that pole, and he's like, we have a lot of ads.
For Super Nintendo?
Tin Star.
Tin Star? I've never played that one.
Yeah, I'm not...
Wild West theme, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I like the way they drew the horse. He's cute. We have a lot of ads, bullpen, bulletins. Speaking of the Hulk, ooh, that's a nice cover.
Yeah.
I wonder if we have that.
It looks familiar.
Huh.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so then he's back on stopping this truck, and it's hitting the ramp, so he's like, I gotta stop this before it causes more damage. So of course he breaks out the webbing and everything. He pulls it to a stop, and
Police arrive.
The police arrive, yeah, and he looks, and both of them passed out, and so I'll turn off the engine, and he's takes off on his webbing and stuff. Monsters, red eyes. I wonder what those guys were drinking. So the next day, he shows up
You
at
think
the...
he'd be more open-minded when people said they saw stuff like that? Maybe since this is number one, we're supposed to believe he hasn't been Spider-Man for that long or something. But so many weird things happen to him. I
Yeah.
would believe it if there was a guy on a glider calling himself the Goblin, shooting bombs.
Yeah,
I'd be
true.
like, maybe there's a lizard guy down there.
Yeah, and all they said was monster red eyes. I mean, it could have been a big old rat or something, you know? I mean,
He's like, you're drunk, shut up.
yeah, that was a little weird. And the next day he's showing off some photos, and they're like, Peter, these are really good shots of Spider-Man in action. And Jonah, what I'd like to know is how a deadbeat like Parker does manage to... Excuse me, Jonah. Anyway, Pete, how'd you like to put your magic to work on the lizard? He's like, the what? And, get here on time. You wouldn't have to ask. The police spoke to 2 subway workers who claimed to have seen a horrible reptile creature in the tunnel last night. Guess I overslept, Mr. Jameson. And then he's thinking, they must be the same guys I stopped as Spider-Man. I guess they weren't drunk after all. Ah.
He's still thinking about, those drunk assholes. I like the weird texture and the whiteness of their hair. Ooh. It looks a little flaky or like bird-like. So weird.
And so he's like, well, while you were getting your beauty sleep, the rest of us have been here all night working on this story. Sorry, Mr. Joe. I've already assigned a writer.
He's got the Superman bang curl.
Yes, well, that indicates hero.
The bang curl.
He kind of looks like a young Harrison Ford there. You turn the page, and there you go. In comes
Eddie Brock.
Yep.
You can tell he's evil because he's got a mullet.
Yeah, and he's not nice. And yeah, it's the mullet.
He's not nice.
He's not nice. Well, anyway.
He can't be.
And so they're telling him, and you'll be in contact with Connors from here on in. And there's $1,000 for you if you get a good shot of this lizard thing for tonight's edition. But boss, shut up, Eddie, I'm talking. He's so rough. And Peter's
I feel like
thinking,
it wasn't this intense in the cartoon version. They used softer language.
Yeah, he goes, my good science grades earned me a shot to work alongside Dr. Connors. And we were working with his department's most promising invention, the neogenic
Recombinator.
Yeah, recombinator. But isn't that awkward?
Yeah, it is a weird.
It's an awkward word.
Weird rhythm to it.
And nothing could prepare me for what I was about to witness. So they had this mouse with 3 legs, and they shot the beam on him, and he grew. He regenerated. And as you see,
so
Dr.
he's like,
Connor...
hey, at high school, if you have any kids with really good grades, send them my way.
Yeah.
So I can shoot this mouse with a beam and show them. It's educational.
Of course, he is missing an arm.
Of course.
So...
Does it mention how he lost it?
No. And he goes, imagine the possibility. Scientists can now replace lost limbs on people. And Peter's like, I couldn't believe it. And Parker, stop daydreaming. What's up, Janine? She's like, your aunt is on the phone. You can take it at my desk. So he goes out, and Aunt May's calling to remind him that he's got a study appointment with Deb. And he's like,
still in school?
Yes. And
yeah, that's what we just established. Sorry.
Yeah.
He looks so old. He looks like he's in his 20s in the drawing.
He does, like his late 20s, early 30s even.
Late 50s.
She's like, you're a good boy, Peter. Have a nice time. And he's like, you're a great lady, Aunt May. I owe you big time for all you've done for me.
No matter what, Aunt May always looks old as hell. She's always a hard
Except in the
95.
movies. And if she's his aunt, she's got to be relatively close to the age of his mom or dad.
You would think. They had one kid really soon, and then they waited another 70 years.
It's crazy. So anyway, he goes to the school and he's going to go to the lab first. But guess who shows up early? It's Deb. And
Oh yeah, classic Spider-Man character, Deb.
Yeah. So he's like, and you'd like to have me tag along, right? Thanks, Peter. I'd love to. It's like, oh, great. So this is kind of spooky. I've never been in the administration building this late, which I thought, administration building? Wouldn't it be in the science lab building or science? But there's Dr. Connor's office. Lights on, but what's that sound? His spider senses are going off. And he's like, hold on, Dad, something's not right in there. The light just went out. He could be in danger. Peter, I'm going in. It's like, why would you do that? And then, oh my Lord. And we have yet another pair of purple pants.
It must be annoying to Spider-Man when people don't know that he's Spider-Man and they rush in to do things and think they're
But
brave.
she's acting
and he's like,
all
you're just
like-
making it worse.
Yeah, but she's acting like, oh, it's so scary. And then, I'm going in.
Yeah,
what
that's
are
a
you
little
gonna do?
inconsistent.
What are you going to do, lady? It's
You
but
scared?
that monster. Peter, what is it? What is that thing?
Let me get a picture of it.
Yeah. You'd think he'd have a camera set up, just
Yeah.
taking, random shots. But come on, Deb, let's get out of here before you get caught. But nope, she's caught. Peter, it grabbed me. I like this little panel inside. But this is a great drawing.
Yeah, they really get they portray his scales nicely.
Yes.
Very bumpy looking.
Yeah. He's so mad. Sometimes I feel like they can draw the lizard and he's almost... what is that one that we read when... but he was not this much drawn with this much detail. It's a few
lizard?
episodes back, yeah.
Are you thinking of the Scorpion?
Yes, I am thinking about the Scorpion.
You think he
They're
goes to the
smooth.
Hulk pants shop? He's like, give me a Hulk, but it ends at above the ankle. Past
nice
the knee,
Hulk
though.
capri.
Yeah, Hulk capri.
But I'm a 32 wings, not a 87. And, so anyway, they kind of scrap a little bit here. It's like Peter is grabbing this equipment and hitting, and she grabs a beaker of some sort and hits him with it. And it's leaving with that bag.
Not that bag.
And so he takes off. That's a nice action shot, too. And gone right out the window. I'm frightened, Peter. What was it? Hey, what are you two? And the cops show up. What are you two doing in here?
What was in that beaker that scared him off?
Yeah, I don't know what... And it doesn't really say. You did it, Deb. It let me go. So whatever was in there. But anyway, so she's talking to the cops, and he's like, I gotta get out of here as Spider-Man. So then we cut to outside the Connor house, and he's just in the tree watching.
They don't notice him out there. I guess the kid does.
The kid does. She's like, look, Mom, Spider-Man's outside our window. What could he be doing here? No, Billy, don't. Hey, don't leave. Wait up. Billy! So Billy answers the door. Of course, the thing you don't want your kid to do. Don't
They
do
did
it.
not
I did it.
instill those lessons about strangers to him.
Nope. And then, so he goes, no, I can help you, Mrs. Connors. I don't want to hurt the doc. I know about the lizard. Please, tell me everything you know. And the Billy, Mom. Okay, Billy, okay. So she goes on to tell the story. He used a machine he invented on himself to try to grow a new arm. But it turned him into that creature. Yes, Spider-Man, Kirk Connors is the lizard. I'm so afraid if the police find out, they'll hunt him down, hurt him, or worse. And I won't let that happen, Mrs. Connors. I promise. I'll save your husband. So.
Look at that smile.
I know.
They glow in the dark.
That's a really, really nice set of panels.
He's getting on his skateboard.
Well, that's the bag. That bag.
It's like a boogie board.
And then outside you have, and this is a weird picture of him. It makes him look like he doesn't have teeth. Like his chin even looks like he gums, you know?
Yeah, it's
It's
a little
weird.
sunken in or something.
And then, of course, the spider senses behind me. Eddie Brock.
That's Brock? Okay.
Uh-oh, he sees me. But what is that? And then, whoa, the lizard. And his wife's like, Kurt, Dad. And hiss, leave my family alone. He speaks great, a talking reptile. Will the wonders of modern science never cease? He always has to be that little sassy guy.
Even in his head, he's not even telling it to
I
anyone.
know.
He's like, I won't release this one, but I'll think it.
He only lets out the deadly ones. And stay away from Liz. And he slams him. What's in that bag? They really haven't said anything. And man, he moves fast. And oh Lord, that thing's gonna kill them all. And come with me. And he grabs his family and takes off, hitting Brock. And listen, Mom, police sirens. Stop, Kurt, stop. They'll come after you. And that's a manhole cover.
Damn, he dented it.
Yeah. Spider-Man comes out. He's like, that lizard sure doesn't show much respect for public property. Talking
That's
about
his
the
worst
manhole
crime.
cover. That's, well, yeah.
Lack of respect for public property.
I like this drawing, though. That's nice.
Yeah.
Him coming down. And so he's going down into the sewers. And the police come and they're talking to Brock because they're like, well, who are you? And he's like, call my boss. And he'll explain, I hope. And so the lizard takes his family deeper into the sewers. He's like, this is where our new home.
We liked our old one.
And that's why he wants to share his powers with you. So turn them into lizards too. And the lizard voice.
A limb to do it?
Oh, yeah, good
Or
point.
Can they just go in whole?
Because if they didn't have a limb, the machine, their bodies wouldn't have to do the work. So they'd be like super lizards. You know what I mean? But Superman's coming. He's like, I just hope I got here before he hurts his wife and son. And he's down here, never again to be disturbed. He's so self-absorbed, he doesn't even hear me. And so he comes crashing down. And then they start fighting. I love how...
No respect for public property.
He's,
Very flawed
and
villain.
he takes a picture.
There's $1,000 for
And
you.
he goes, he doesn't even hear me. And then he does now.
Oh, God.
But then he thinks, come on, Lizzie, give me a smile for old Uncle Jonah. It's like, really? You're just thinking this stuff? It's comedy gold.
Yeah,
And,
you should release him.
But when he finds out that his tail is strong enough to snap his webbing, I didn't even consider that. This is a cool panel, too.
I love the yellow.
Yes. Yes.
That color palette for Spider-Man is like the primary one I associate just because this was like my prime reading days of Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Those shades of grayish blue and red.
Yeah.
It's crazy to look at how different he looks in different eras.
And older, yeah. So they continue this. He looks insane. And he goes, the lizard's more powerful than I ever imagined. But how can I fight against him? Against my good friend. How's about good old self-preservation for starters? It's like he's talking to
It's like debating himself, I guess.
Kirk Connors, do you hear me?
Guy.
Dr. Kirk Connors.
With great power comes great responsibility, so he's got to turn everything over in his head.
Oh, true.
I like this reaction shot.
Yes. But look at how mean I think they drew him really well.
Yeah.
And again, his tail.
The colors almost seem too bright now. Like, looking at it from so many years later, it's nostalgic, but at the same time with a different perspective, I'm like, it's so bright.
Yeah.
You know, and the colors are so deep.
Yeah. No, I understand
Sometimes the washed out colors look a little better for some reason.
Yeah. Look, Dr. Connors, look. He tries to calm him down by showing a picture. And he said, you stop. You said 1,000 words, Doc. Dad, Kurt, get back, you two. wait a minute, the recombinator. So that's
what's
what
in
he
the
was.
bag,
Yep.
the old
I know how to
recombinator.
use this if I can. Oh no, he's on his feet again. So his spider senses are always going off here.
They're yellow this time. They're usually red.
And he does the karate kick. That's a great
Ooh.
pose.
Yeah, he's got it wrapped up in the tail.
And that sewage is deep enough for both of us to drown in. So he does the kick, takes Spider-Man with him down into the... That's so disgusting. Can you imagine?
Ugh.
Down into the sewer. Ugh.
Ick.
And badoom! So something happened. So there's an explosion. And then they're waiting and waiting. It says tense moments pass. How could they stay under so long, Mom? Don't worry, Billy. It's like, wouldn't you just be trying to get out of there?
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man comes up. And Spider-Man, is Kurt? He's right here, Mrs. C.
Well,
Let me
if they
get him
know
up.
the lizard's their husband or
Not
dad,
true.
they're probably
But he's just
waiting to see what
so
happens.
intense.
Yeah.
And he was going to hurt them. He was going to change them.
What if it doesn't hurt? It just feels weird.
You would become a lizard?
No, I'm just saying it wasn't going to hurt them.
It tickles.
From his point of view, he was perfecting them.
Well, that's true. That's true. So the kid's like, Dad, is he dead, Spider-Man? He'll be okay, Billy. Give him a couple of minutes. And he comes to. And thank heavens you're back, Kurt. We were so worried. It'll be great to have you home again, Dad. Spider-Man's like, you folks sit tight. I'll be right back. Sounds good to me, Billy boy. So, anyway, then we cut back to Brock, and the Connors come up, and they're like, that's right, we were in the basement and didn't hear a thing.
I like how many fine lines there are in
His hair is
Jonah's
sharp.
hair there. Yeah.
And then Brock's is just all party in
Looked
the
like
back.
pigeon feathers before in the white part, and
Oh,
now it's like
yeah.
fine blades of grass.
So Brock gets in trouble. He's like, I'll straighten out this mess with him back at the Bugle. And the cops are like, it's a wrap, guys, just a false alarm. Sorry for any trouble, folks. And
So the
So, yeah.
lizard's left to go back to his normal life?
yeah,
No
they
consequences,
cured
huh?
him. They cured him. And then you hear Jonah telling Brock, I hear the mailroom is looking for help, Brock.
Oh, that face, he looks so pissed.
And then Spider-Man's up there thinking, it's been a rough night for the Connors. But for their sakes and mine, I hope we never hear from the lizard again.
Is it supposed to be night? Because it looks like broad daylight.
Broad
He's just,
yeah.
like, standing,
Yeah.
standing on a tree branch not that high above them. Hey, is that Spider-Man on that tree branch over there?
And then he's
It's
like,
broad daylight, Spider-Man.
snap out of it, buddy. He's like, holy, I forgot all about Deb Whitman back at ESU. She'll have a hard time explaining things to the police, too. Because remember, they're denying this whole thing. So he goes, guess it's been another normal day in the life of Spider-Man. And then next issue, we're just getting started as Spidey goes up against a truly lethal foe. Be here in 30 days for the creation of the Scorpion.
It's weird that they do the lizard and then do another very aesthetically similar.
You'd think they would have broken into like Sandman.
Or maybe just make the Scorpion a different color. In his
Oh.
original design, I know was green, but like, are scorpions green? I just thought
Well, I
they
know
were
they're
like some of them
black.
are like translucent looking or like.
That would be weird though.
Whitish.
The
But
costume is
make them
translucent.
brown or something, or like black, or yeah, I think I've seen black scorpions.
Yes, black scorpions in the
Why
pet
not do
store.
that?
Remember when you guys were kids and we'd go to the mall
Pet the scorpions.
and we'd go to the pet store
Yeah, I think so.
and they always had a scorpion or two in there. That was
Why would you
gross.
ever want that as a pet?
Gross. And then spiders, vultures, scorpions, octopus, and more.
Yeah, why are they all plural? In this one, you only get one octopus.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, they
So-
were pushing hard to release this new cartoon. They had a lot of cross promotions going.
Yeah.
You never got us Cookie Crisp cereal, unfortunately.
I think
so-
I got you guys that once, but it was kind of creepy.
What? Creepy?
Yeah, it was. It had.
Were we eating it in a creepy way?
No, it wasn't like cookies. It was like puffed.
Oh, I remember. Those
it
were
kinda...
good. It was not healthy.
Right.
I bet, but I don't know if I'd call it creepy.
It had
delicious.
a creepy texture. I don't know.
Tastes good to me.
But
And they come with Spider-Man cards, apparently.
So if you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget, once we reach 50 subscribers, we're going to be giving away this beautiful special cover of Iron Man
288.
288.
Celebrating that important milestone. Everybody knows 288.
Before 289.
Yeah. 48-page anniversary special. So
Yeah, it's a good book. We covered it a few episodes ago, and
it could be yours.
it could be
You could
yours.
hang it up on your wall and say, "This is in tribute to my favorite podcast, the Comics Podcast."
Oh.
The podcast where me and my mom go through our comic book collection 2 at a time. And now we can just roll into a new episode. All right, thank you for watching.